Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Mama Rue's Ancestral Musings. If you are a returning listener, welcome back. And if you are just tuning in for the first time, thank you for sharing a bit of your day with me and letting me talk in your ears. Ooh, man. It is July 5th. And I'm coming to you from the south side of Chicago. Yesterday was the National Independence Day. It has probably been the blackest and most woke Independence Day ever. Well, I don't call it Independence Day for obvious reasons. It's just the 4th of July. Like today is the 5th and tomorrow will be the 6th. But what I noticed for the first time in maybe a long time is that more people are coming to the reality of what that holiday actually means for us as black folks here in America. And it's like, it was a beautiful thing to behold, you know. The speech of Frederick Douglass, What is the 4th of July to the Slave, was shared widely. And I may have tweeted a quote, and I paraphrase. You know, this is your day of celebration, but for me, it is a day for me to mourn. And that was Frederick Douglass speaking to a crowd of white men. Okay? So, yeah, badass. That's our ancestor. Give thanks. I don't really have a topic, and I'm going against my word. I know last time I did this, I said I would have a more to the point episode and stick with the topic and not do the off the cuff rambles. But it seems that I am more partial to doing these, rambling off the cuff segments. So please bear with me. You will be able to pull something of value out of it. Stick with me. First, let me talk about my weekend. I had a great weekend again with the New Era Chicago family. It was amazing. Again, it's like each time I'm with them doing their hood to hood initiative where we go to different neighborhoods in Chicago on both south and west sides. It's always, something incredible that happens, and I'm just so grateful for the opportunity, to be able to participate in this. It means a lot to me. The people who are responsible for the chapter are very passionate, and their passion is palpable, and it's contagious. Okay? So if you're in Chicago and you're one of those people that, gets really screwed up in the heart, in the mind, and the soul about what's happening to our people, you need to come on out and join us. Every Saturday, we're in a different part of Chicago. Keep up with what's going on. Like the Facebook page, New Era Chicago. Find them on Instagram, and they're also on Twitter now. And, show up and show out. Okay? You bless your ancestors when you do that, as well as the people in our communities. One of the things that I really liked about this past weekend was, we were on a side street, and, we're in the middle of the street doing our chant. And there's videos of that on my page, on Facebook, and on my Twitter as well. And there are links to all of that on the Spreaker main page for this show. The police came and tried to block us, and we just walked right past it. It was like the ultimate shade, because he was really like, "You must stop now. Who are you? You cannot pass." And we were just like, "Nah," and kept walking. And then he called for backup. And so there were several other SUVs that came out, police SUVs. And there was a paddy wagon, people. Like, really? Do you really see the need for a frickin' paddy wagon? We are black people showing our love for black people, showing our love for our own community, our own neighborhood, and you're going to call a paddy wagon because of that. We had babies out there, okay? Mothers pushing infants in strollers. We had little shorties out there, okay? Pre-teenagers and teenagers, all right? And older people. Yes, I count myself and my husband amongst the elders. Yes, we are. Thank you. Thank you. We are the elders. And there are a couple others. And so it's like, do we really look like we're trying to pop something off out here? Like we're trying to riot, like we're trying to, destroy property or something? Like we're out here just trying to roll up on, and set fire to every damn thing? Really, bitch? I mean, really? But they don't know, okay? Ignorance and fear go hand in hand. What I liked about what happened, though, is even though they were very suspicious and, just, prepare for anything mode, the leaders of our chapter had some FaceTime with them and basically let them know, this is why we're here and this is what we're about. And they're like, oh. And so then we got that cooperation, instead of just, setting up to prepare to haul us all off to jail. They actually blocked the street on one of the main streets that we had our little demonstration to, for our safety and for the public safety, because there were a lot of people out that Saturday. So, dialogue and communication goes a long way. All right. It doesn't change how we feel about each other. They still hate us. They still, want to kill us dead, but at least you're going to respect us. You might hate us, but we demand that you respect us, okay? And with the respect comes the ability to listen, all right? And that was just a good thing to see. After that, we cash mobbed a local business. This time it was New Look Restaurant and Bar on East 83rd. It was incredibly good. I tweeted a picture of what I had. I had the catfish sandwich. Yes, the catfish sandwich. And the fries were just really good. And normally I like crispy fries, but these weren't so crispy, but they were still very flavorful. I'm sorry. That's the Tuesday 10 o'clock alarm test in the background. Anyway, so that was, my weekend. Oh, I went to church and, went back to Greater Harvest Missionary Baptist on 51st and South State Street and saw something very incredible. I haven't written about this on my social media yet, but I mentioned on my last Spreaker how when we went out with the Hood to Hood, I saw something and I had a very intense spiritual moment while out there knocking on doors and talking to residents. Another very spiritual moment at church, but it's not the kind you're thinking. Okay. And I'm going to elaborate on that now because it's important, because it's sort of, continuing on a theme that I've been on for the past 2 years, pretty much. Yeah, exactly. For the past 2 years. And that is the African continuum in our lives. I always say this a lot. Our ancestors may have forgotten the Congo, but the Congo has never forgotten its children. I say some variation on that theme often because it is what I believe, okay? It's not just an opinion I have. This is my truth, okay? And I see it manifested all around. Like everywhere I look, I see an example of that. 2 years ago, I shared a clip from a documentary called Rise and Shout, I believe. It's a documentary about black music, gospel music in particular, and how it got started. And part 3 of the documentary that's on YouTube, because it's broken up in parts, has a clip of, them talking about how black folks did church and why it's so different from how white folks do church. Well, the reason why it's so different is because and see, I always have this thing with pronouns, please forgive me, guys. But when I talk about our forebears, when I talk about our people, our ancestors, grandmama and them, all the way back, to the motherland, to the first seed, I always speak of myself and us and we. I'll start off with them and they, but I always go back to we and us. Why? Because we are our ancestors returned. Okay, we are them. So forgive me that if it bothers you. um, but it's like, we Africanized Christianity. The Christianity that we practice, in my opinion, is not Christianity. Now, I know some Christians that will debate me on that. They'll probably want to come and kick my ass because of what I just said. But I'm sorry. If you are black and you think you're practicing the same Christianity as your oppressors did or do, then you're just fooling yourselves. I'm sorry. Your African nature, your Africanness, okay, your African blood does not allow that to be so. Okay? Just think about that. Whether you agree with it or not, just hold on to that thought, all right? Because it's going to play into what I have to say next. If you've ever been in a black church and you've seen some folks get the ghost, get slain in the spirit, tarry for the spirit, however you want to call it. If you're familiar with the ATRs, it's called being mounted or ridden, okay? They're all different words to describe the same phenomena, okay? Possession. It's the same thing. I know a lot of people don't like that word because when they think of spirit possession, they automatically think of Hollywood bullshit, okay? And all that dumb shit. All right? No. Possession simply means one thing takes over another thing. Okay? In this case, spirit possession means, your spirit man, your soul, your id, your thing, your essence kind of gets, you sit out on a bench and another spirit comes in its place and then, starts doing things. Using your body as a vessel. All right? So if you've been in church where you've seen this happen, you might be familiar with the activity of someone, and this can be a child, this can be a grown-up, an old person, it doesn't matter, male, female, it don't matter. You will see someone get up and take off to running. Okay? Raise your hands if you've seen this. Yes, I can see you. Yes, so you know what I'm talking about. All right? Those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, take your ass to church on Sunday and see it for yourself. Or go to YouTube. All right? Go to YouTube. Anyway, what you might not have noticed or paid attention to is that they all run in a counterclockwise circle. Let me repeat that. When people get slain by the spirit in black church and they do the running, okay, because not everybody does the same maneuvers, I guess, or gesticulates in the same manner, all right? But there are people who will get up out their pew and run around the room leftwardly, okay, or in a counterclockwise motion. This is consistent. There is an African spiritual reason for this. Okay? There is something called the Congo cosmogram. It is a representation of our relationship to God, to the ancestors, to our past selves, and to the promise and the hope of what we will be. Okay? And that's just a basic meaning of that. There's levels to the meanings of it. Okay? People, racists pretty much said that, we don't have the capability of philosophical thought. Okay? We're just dumb, ignorant, and we just can't be deep like that. Well, that's not true. Okay? Our Congolese ancestors had a very deep and beautiful understanding of physical phenomena and metaphysical phenomena. Okay? So, this cosmogram that I'm talking about is a plus sign within a circle